Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Andy, your Agile coach. Last time I shared an episode talking about how to build a simple Kanban system to run your business. If you don't know what I said, I strongly recommend you to back to see the previous episode because today's topic is highly associated with that. Some people saw the episode and asked me, "Hey Andy, why does the Kanban system seem like a waterfall management method?" Well, if you had the question in mind, very good. That means you really work hard watching the material. And that's why I should make up this video today. Try imagine if you did follow the 3 steps: identify your workflow, identify item types, and identify a class of services to kick off the first Kanban. What situations might occur during your implementation if you view it as a waterfall-like method? Because the Kanban board is essentially a pipeline process, most people tend to pass their items to next phase as possible as they could. So on a board, you can often see there are some stages accumulated with lots of unfinished items or semi-empty. To speak it more precisely, some people are busy while some are idle. In a traditional mindset, we might suspect if some people don't take effort to do their work within schedule. However, in the Kanban system, we focus on overall delivery capability instead of personal output. That is to say, when the outcome is unexpected and some people are exhausted with amounts of items, we should notice there is something needed fixed to reach delivery balance. Rather than assigning items to a team, I prefer to limit work in progress to improve the outcome. And that's the secret to work less and do more. So, what is WIP, work in progress? I want to show you with a simple example. The WIP means the amount of items after committed and before delivered, being processed at any given time. In this case, you see there is a number next to each phase that indicates the maximum amount of items each can handle. From system-wide perspective, the WIP is totally the sum of phases WIP 15 that tells you the system could only handle at most 15 items, and each phase has its own WIP to avoid overloading. Then the next question is how to use WIP to improve the outcome. In this section, I'd like to show you a more general example in the publishing industry. If you are not familiar with it, no mind, because you still could define your own workflow and manipulate the same idea on it. Or you could send me an email for further consultancy or just comment below the video. If you use it for the first time, I strongly suggest you use 3 items per person for each phase. For example, there are 4 phases from committed to delivered. For each phase, there's a number of people allocated to handle the work for a specific phase. Take writing phase as an instance. It involves 2 individuals writing content, so we set a WIP to 6 for it by default. And WIP of other phases could be derived from the same rule. Well, I use 3 as the initial WIP just because we human beings usually cannot focus on more than 3 steps at the same time. The value will be adapted as more is learned from the process. Once you have set WIP for each phase, start assigning the items to their partners and observe some common scenarios here. For example, in writing mode, its WIP is 6, and there are 6 items in the phase. No matter active or done, no items could be added into the stage unless a character pulls an item to next mode. Once the total amount of items in writing mode is less than the WIP limit, it could pull a down item from the previous mode. In the Kanban board, we use WIP to not only limit the maximum loads but also plays as a signal to tell you, hey, you could pull another item from the previous mode. It triggers ripple effect because as there is capacity for other items to come in, it signals each phase to check doable items from right to left. Well, the WIP we set in the example just for explanation. In reality, it's dynamic and you could adapt it to real conditions. For example, if you find the correction mode is always idle under the configuration, you should raise its WIP limit because it outperforms others and could afford more loads. I highly encourage you to limit WIP in your workflow for 3 reasons. Firstly, it helps you focus on the outcome, not the output. As WIP is set, we can only work under limited capacity, so we have to think which items should be done first to generate the maximum value for customers. Traditionally, we are trained to complete as more items as we could, but we never think if what we deliver is what customers want. Secondly, it helps to eliminate unnecessary context switching. In traditional mindset, we tend to think it wasteful when there are some workers being idle, and intuitively, the manager would assign more items to them, such that the system seems busy. However, he often discovers that a delivery speed is unsatisfactory and blames employees for not working hard. Is that the real fact? In fact, our brain cannot be multitasking, especially when we are assigned many items. That causes we have to switch among items and implicitly our focus is dispersed. Lastly, it systematically changes people's behavior to process requests. We're used to passively receiving tasks from managers in a controlling process and stay still once there are not any tasks. And this is not most business owners would like to see when they are running a business. Instead, limiting WIP drives employees to pull items from previous modes automatically, and it implicitly helps you save more resources. It might be the first time for some people to learn such a counterintuitive approach to improving the team's delivery performance. In my ex-company, my manager just told me to assign more items to engineers and don't make them idle. The situation was pretty discomfortable because I could see the members get busy, but deliverables were poor. Although I knew this approach at that time, I dared not to tell him because he might misuse the concept to make the condition even worse. Limiting WIP is used to improve the delivery capability rather than represent personal KPI. In whatever business, we should control our desire to do many stuff in a short period of time. Instead, we should focus on items that delivers the maximum value for customers. Limiting WIP provides you an effective tool to improve the outcome as more knowledge is learned from the feedback. If you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe me, and comment below if you have any questions. I'm Andy, your Agile coach.